Welcome to the SOS Save Our Soccer channel. I'm Enzo Coppola and thank you for tuning in. South Africa made history the other day when they beat Korea 1-0 and they qualified automatically in second spot for the last 32. And on Sunday the 28th of June, South Africa will play against Canada. And Canada have also made history on their part by qualifying for the second round in their World Cup history. They've only played in 3 World Cups, so this is quite a big achievement for them. And being one of the home nations, and also close in proximity to the Los Angeles Stadium where the game is taking place, one would assume that there are going to be more Canada supporters than there will be South African. But this will not deter South Africa, I'm pretty sure, because their progress is on an upward path. So Canada play fast attacking football, direct football, which is a threat to South Africa. They've had an average of over 60% possession, but they've put that possession to good use because they've scored 8 goals in their 3 opening games, one of them being a 6-0 win over Qatar. So South Africa are going to have the work cut out, but I think for South Africa to enjoy any kind of success, they need to start the way that they finished against Korea, because when they started the game against Korea, they were very slow. They sat off and allowed Korea to play. They cannot afford to do this against Canada. I think they need to play on their front foot, close down all the spaces, and play the way that South Africa likes to play, and that is attacking football. If each player wins their individual battle, then I'm pretty sure that Bafana will win the war at the end of the day. So it's going to be an interesting tussle. The big question for Hugo Broos, the South Africa coach, is whether to keep the winning formation that beat Korea, or whether to include Teboho Mokoena, who was suspended for that match. That's the big question he needs to face. It's a difficult one for him, but it's a good headache to have. I would assume probably that Mokoena will get included, at whose expense probably Mbata. But Mbata had such a good game against Korea, and he topped it off with a very good shot as well with his left foot where he nearly scored. So it will be interesting to see how Coach Hugo Broos starts off the game. And but one of the things that disturbed me a little bit, I don't like to be a little bit on the negative side, but when I saw some video clips of the Minister of Sport, Gayton promising the Bafana players untold riches, 5 million here, 5 million there, all this money that he's promising the players. I think he was offside by doing that, completely offside. If he's in a position to raise money to give the players extra bonuses, then he should do that in the background, not tell the players and throw all this money at them to try and get them motivated to win the game. Because most people will tell you, in fact, most players, top players will tell you, money does not motivate you to win a game. It's whether you're hungry enough, whether you're determined enough, whether you win the battles on the field that spurs you on. It's not how much money you're going to make at the end of the day or after the game. Some of the best players have played through their entire careers without any money at all, but they played at the highest level for years and years. So I think Gayton I hope he hasn't put a spanner in the works by doing that, because the players cannot afford to be distracted at this point of the tournament. Yes, we made history. Yes, we got this far, but it's a 50-50 chance. When it comes to knockout football, anything can happen, and invariably it does. As we see, 9 out of 10 teams from Africa have qualified for the last 32. Yes, the playoff spots were increased, But still, to achieve that kind of success rate, 9 out of 10, the only team that hasn't qualified for the last 32 from Africa is Tunisia. Shame on you. No, I'm just joking. But well done to all the teams that have qualified for the last 32. And for South Africa to have got this far, it's an incredible achievement, but who knows how far we can go. The possibility of an African side going really deep into this tournament are very good at this stage. So we will keep an eye on that. But when coming back to Gayton McKenzie, I think you're offside. Really, with all due respect, you should have done that work in the background and not throw all this, especially in front of cameras. I think it's just a camera stunt just to get publicity, same as a VAR stunt and all the rest of it, just about cameras. But we should be putting the focus on the players and let them get ahead with the job together with the coach and his assistants. So, naughty, Gayton. But if they win, fantastic. But it's not due to you and the money. However, I've mentioned development quite a lot throughout my life, whether I've been writing articles for newspapers or even here when I've started these podcasts. And development is the important thing that should feed football. And there's a very good example in the Bafana squad at the moment. We've got young Okon, the defender. He's only 22 years old at the moment. But I have to highlight, and it's important that we highlight that players don't just arrive on the stage. They have to be developed from a young age. And there's people along the way that help them and help them progress, help them to develop as people as well as players. And one person that needs to have special mention is a gentleman called Kevin Moody. He's the current chairman of Randburg Football Club. But for those who don't know, and there can't be that many, but Kevin was a top striker in his own right when he was playing in his prime. He played for Wits, Dynamos, Amazulu, and also Rangers. And probably the highlight of his career is when he won the league in 1982 and 1983 with Durban City, 2 consecutive years. That's a legendary team. Each and every player in that team and squad and the management are legends and forever will be. In fact, that same team that won in 82 and 83 came second in 1984, rather unfairly, as most people will know. But well done to Kevin, because Kevin spotted Okon when he was 15 years old. Arrived at the club at Randburg, and Kevin nurtured him throughout those years, different leagues, different levels, different coaches, and eventually, when the time was right, Kevin called Gavin Hunt. At the time, Gavin Hunt was coach of Supersport, and Gavin loved him straight away. And he had to develop him quite a bit more. He wasn't the finished article. No player ever is until they finish playing, or until they reach their peak. But Kevin worked on. Gavin worked on Okon. Gave him an opportunity in the first team when he wasn't doing well. He helped him out and gave him advice and encouragement. And to the young man's credit, from what I've seen in interviews that Okon has done, and from what I hear from Kevin Moody, he's a very humble, down-to-earth guy who loves to work hard. He's extremely fit. He's dedicated to his trade, and he's got a solid grounding with a good family around him and good friends. And he remembers where he comes from. He doesn't get too ahead of himself. So now he's only 22. He's on the World Cup stage now. He's playing for Hanover in the Bundesliga 2. And who knows where he's going to end up if he keeps going. I think if he keeps his head down and he stays as determined as he is and humble and keeps working, he could reach the stature of another Lucas Radebe. Those are my words, but also Kevin Moody's words. He firmly believes that that Okon's got everything to go all the way. Unfortunately, in South Africa, we've got too many cases where players hit the limelight in a short space of time. They have one good season, and then the money and the fame and the attention goes to the head, and they suddenly derail their careers. And let's hope this is not the case with Okon, and I'm sure it won't be. So he's a very vital cog in the South Africa team, together with all the rest of them. They've all got their own path of how they got there. To the level that they are. So I would like to say South Africa have got a good chance of winning, and I think it's going to be a tight game. It's not going to be, I think sometimes you expect goals in games like this, but I probably think it's going to be like a very tight, cagey match, and it's going to be like a 1-1 perhaps. And it might go to penalties, and hopefully South Africa will win. So it's going to be very interesting. Well done to South Africa so far, but there's still work to be done. I'm sure you can do it. Good luck to you, to the management team, Hugo Broos, Helman Mkalele, Grant Johnson, the goalkeeper coach, and all the players. We're all behind you. Come on, boys, you can do it. You can do it! Yes!